How's it going, everyone? I'm Dono and this is How to Happy. In this video we're going to be talking about, is what you spend your money on worth your time? So you may have a problem that a lot of people have where you're looking through your expenses at the end of the month and you feel like the money just disappears a lot quicker than you thought it did. So maybe you're trying to figure out how to keep your budget a little bit tighter, how to spend your money a little bit more wisely. So what I want to talk about in this video is a strategy that I use to kind of help me keep a lot of my spending in check. So what I do is when I go out to buy something, that's kind of expensive or frivolous or, just something that I don't necessarily need, but I want to some degree, I ask myself, is what I'm buying worth the amount of time that it took me to earn that money? So for a lot of us, we're working in positions where we get paid by the hour. So if, for example, you're making, $10 an hour and you want to buy something for $100, is what you're buying worth 10 hours of work? That's the question to ask yourself. And a lot of times when you ask yourself this question, it's going to help reframe the value of what it is that you're buying. Now, I know that I simplified it to make the math a little bit easy, but a lot of times, if you think about it in terms of, okay, what I spend 10 hours of work in order to get this thing, a lot of times some of the smaller things that we don't care about as much kind of fall off of the radar. Often when we think about it in that way, when we ask ourselves, am I going to get 10 hours worth of enjoyment out of this object? A lot of times that'll slow us down, at least from purchasing things that we don't really need because, we're spending too much time working for how much enjoyment we're getting out of what we're buying. As you make more money, the guidelines loosen up and change a little bit, right? So if you have to ask yourself, okay, is going out to dinner today worth 10 minutes of work? For most people it probably is, but for others it may not be. So it's really about just spending time reflecting on what's actually valuable to you and what money means in terms of how difficult it is for you to actually earn it compared to what you're spending it on. This idea is the reason that a lot of people say time is money, right? When you spend money, you're spending your time really because it took you time to earn that money. Now, going along with this framework, everyone is at a different place. And on top of that, don't feel bad if you spend, money on something that you actually enjoy. If you think about it and you go, okay, I had to work 5 hours to do this activity, I think it's worth it, then don't worry about how much work it took. Just feel good and focus on knowing that you're spending your money in a way that resonates with you. What I'm trying to get at the root of is spending your money in a way that you feel like you're not getting as much benefit out of it as you put in work. This idea is not about limiting yourself and cutting a bunch of things out. It's about spending money on the things that you truly care about. Whenever we spend money on something that we don't really care about, that money is gone and spent, but we could have used it towards things that brought us more happiness or that were more useful. So the reason that it's important to pay attention to these things is the opportunity cost. You don't want to be spending money on things that are too expensive for how much value they're giving you when you could be spending, that money on something that really does bring you value. Another way that you can do this to kind of feel more of the impact is to tally up how much you spend on certain things in the course of a month. So for example, if you buy a cup of coffee every morning, when you add all that time together, is it really worth, a day's worth of work or whatever it happens to be? That's something to ask yourself. And sometimes these aggregates can give you a little bit better idea. But on the flip side, sometimes it's a little bit too much data to kind of process and feel real. So that's just another tool that you can try if you think it's something that would help you out. If not, I just recommend making the purchases as you go and thinking about them as you make the purchase and comparing it to your time to see if you're spending your money in a way that you feel really resonates with you. So again, I'm not saying don't ever buy anything again or anything like that. It's just an exercise that you can try to see if what you're buying is what you want to be buying. Now, if you try this exercise and you find it to be more stressful than it is helpful, then I wouldn't recommend using it anymore, right? The whole point is so that you're spending more of your money on things that make you happy. But if you're freaking out the whole time over every single thing that you buy, that's going to cause just as much stress as probably spending your money in more frivolous ways. So, as with a lot of the things that we talk about here, it's just an exercise that you can try to see if it works for you. With that being said, let's move on to the exercise section. Number 1, think of the last 3 things you bought. How long did you have to work to get them? Number 2, evaluate each object. Was it worth it? Number 3, are you buying anything regularly, which is money better spent elsewhere? That's all I've got for this video. Hopefully that gives you an idea, that you can use to spend your money a little bit more wisely. That'll lead you to some more happiness. As always, if you have any questions, comments, topics you want me to cover, put them down in the box below, and I will see you next time. You can check out more content at howtohappy.com. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay up to date on the videos. We've also got a Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook that you can check out. Reflect, take action, and enjoy life. See you next time.